They say they're the best days of your life, which is obviously a bit disappointing if that is the case, standing here with our lives ahead of us. But having been a part of Framlingham College since year 4, it's easy to see why that might be true.
Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but no, I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a calm is pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before you not so much of me. If many a Long Island you'll be with me, like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our story is end, I know from its mooring by a wind of the sea, like a sea.
That some people cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. I will live in my little bubble of optimism regarding which of those is more applicable to me. However, I've no doubt whatsoever that it's the former of these that applies to this year's leavers. And of course today sees an important rite of passage for them. And it's only right that they take their formal leave of a place that I hope will have done much to form the people that they are now. Bob Skitch retires after a remarkable 31 years of service here, during which time he's contributed enormously to the academic and co-curricular life of the school. His commitment to sport across all 3 terms is of third enthusiasm, some would say from his umpiring. Bob is a proper schoolmaster. He doesn't give a second thought to giving his time up at weekends and at holidays. He's a CCF and a DFE stalwart. And instead he just simply doesn't question that is part of the job. In fact, honestly, I can't think of many teachers who've given so generously so much of their time for the benefit of our pupils. And I know that Bob, like me actually, would argue that he's got out much more out of the job as a result. He's also built up an enormous reservoir of expertise on further education, running the school's universities programme for longer than any of us can remember. And I know that Miss Cranmer, who succeeds him in this role, is very grateful for his offer of being on the end of the phone should she need him next year. Suffice it to say, it'd be very hard to imagine this place without Bob Skitch, and I'd just like to give him a round of applause, please. And as I come to the end of my time here, I can reflect with real warmth on the privilege of leading this community for 10 years.
And the guy behind the bar went, "Oh, I've got 10 girls."
Okay.
Bring me juice. Bring me orange juice. Bring me a big mug of orange juice.
Oh, thank you. Okay. When Alex, my godson, just carried the chair in, it's always a bit awkward when the food comes out, isn't it? You don't want to be first in the queue, so thanks guys for getting no one else. Bob joined the college in 1988, and if I'm the father of common room, he's definitely Uncle Bob. He arrived fresh-faced from Cambridge, having previously tried banking. We nearly lost him early on when he got hit by a van on the A14 and spent 2 weeks in intensive care. Subsequently, he could have used that as an excuse not to actually do too much. But we know that's not an idea. To quote a great former SSI, John Watson, there are teachers that do, and teachers that effing don't. Bob Staple has been a science department in which he's taught all 3 subjects. He's been an examinations officer, trained and worked in special educational needs, and taught PSHE.
With you, David.
Yeah. He's tutored in all 4 boys' houses, and like me has a Victoria House tie. At the time I was worried about this move. Bob was given the worst tutor group in the school for a generation. And I was concerned about Bob's lack of experience in dealing with slightly unruly children.
Took me out of my depth.
When it goes to Bob's house, it's just like going to the Long Trap house. Bob, of course, being the ultimate professional, quickly won them over and they became wonderful citizens. And for the rest of the year, they styled themselves as Skitch's bitches. At the time, Bob was considered a complete hero. Today, he'd be reported to do.
It's not too late.
What is it?
Bob successfully led careers in higher education and managed on the back of this to visit locations all over the place to study university courses. Whilst investing in hospitality management in Switzerland and northern Italy, he sent me a photo of a beautiful model on a fashion shoot. Led me to wonder just what hospitality he was actually receiving.
How do you find out about that?
The number of old Framinghamians Bob has helped must number in the thousands. He seems to have a unique solution for those who fail to launch. And that is, they all come to stay with him on the Skitch ranch. Forever there after church on a Sunday, having coffee, at some point, some breary-eyed old Framinghamian will stumble into the kitchen and go for the cupboard looking for food. And Bob will turn around and say, "Do you know they were staying?" Back in the day, Bob ran a UCAS meeting for all the housemasters, mistresses and all the heads of departments. He got us to steadfastly discuss every single year 13 in alphabetical order. Generous to a fault with the department budget, Bob provided food and copious amounts of wine. After the second hour, Bob could be heard declaring, "He's a splendid chap. He's on the 3rd. By the 3rd hour, all productivity ceased as his captives slid slowly under the table. A product of the public school system himself, Bob totally gets it. And he's taken teams in all 3 major sports. He must have run the 3rd single-handedly for 2 decades. This year he assisted with the first 15, ran the force hockey and the 3rd cricket. And Nick Ganley commented to me, "His contribution has been extraordinary. He will be impossible to replace. Always willing to help in any way. I don't think we will see his like again." I remember once at Norwich, we were on the coach about to leave, and Bob and his 3rds piled into a minibus next to us. Bob rammed it into reverse and ran over a massive coach. And just drove off. Richard Curtis, director of sport at the time, leapt out the coach, bunged it in the boots, and then at our annual sort of end of season coaches dinner, we presented it back to Bob. The funny thing was, he refused to believe that he'd ever run it over in the first place. At another meal, Bob actually won Coach of the Year. And he was presented with 2 animal inflatable sex toys. If you remember, Bob, one was a sheep and one was a pig. Now, most normal people would have deflated them before they left the restaurant. But Bob proudly took them home. the next morning to find his young children playing with their new presents. So we once said, look, they've even got real bottoms. I did girls' cricket in school. He used to get my Victoria girls to play on his thirds when he was short of players. Never one to worry about convention, he played Peter Clark in the Margaretine fixture, one of the best sportsmen who have ever graced our playing fields. Afterwards, he stubbornly declared, "He didn't make much difference." To quote Julian, really? It was in the world of sport that his rivalry with his nemesis, one Charlie Cage. Where's Charlie? If their teams ever played each other, the length of the game depended on who was refereeing and who was winning at the time. They even started trying to poach each other's players by putting team sheets up first. In the staff panto, a scripted tussle turned into a full-scale reenactment. Liz, who tries to see herself as peacemaker between the two, but then finds it too hilarious to do anything usually, said to me at the time, "Boaty!" She always shouts in case I'm not paying attention. "Boaty!" They were really going at it. I thought we were going to have to intervene. Evidence can still be seen in the loo in the HBT. It's not blood, but there's a lovely photo. Then Charlie challenged Bob to a 100-metre race. The maths department calculated the odds of survival.
That's a long way, 100 metres.
School nurse Simeon was on hand with the defibrillator, and Team Skitch arrived resembling Team Sky. Bob, in the latest college games kit, was taken through an absolutely perfect warm-up routine by his boys. Meanwhile, Charlie, in his best crumpled white resembling Alf Tupper, proud at the start line. Martin fired the gun, and the rest is history. Lord Skitch held off the usurper, and to quote timekeeper Liz, ex-sprinter, "Their times were amazing, Boaty!" Rumour has it that with Bob's retirement, they're going to take up video blogging. Their first outing, Bob and Charlie go copying, is set to go It would be wrong at this point not to mention Bob's interesting relationship with one Gwen Randall. Much of this seems to stem from the annual staff barbecue. Now, for those who weren't here at the time, it had a water feature running down the garden. The whole common room would turn up just to see which Skitch would tumble in. Next morning, Bob would get summoned to Gwen's study and given a list of the damage. Apparently one year it even included a fish. The fact that a young child had fallen in a hazardous pond, he didn't know there.
That's what
CCF in 1988 from the OTC. He has a set of uniforms. He even ran the RN and the RAF sections, one of which is still going. Bob would often declare to all and sundry that he was the best qualified driver because the OTC had got him his HGV licence. So one day, I watched him reverse around the maintenance shed. I thought I might learn something from the master. As he reversed, there was a horrible bang, and he broke the drive shaft as he beached it on the curb. Unfortunately for Bob, he did this in front of the entire staff cricket team who were playing on the back at the time. One of which was the school bursar, who wandered over to look at the damage and then had to be sedated. Bob, in his time, ran the Bronze DAV. He supervised all levels of the DAV, giving up his holidays, including the recent ones, for the sake of our pupils. Martin is eternally grateful, Bob, for everything you've done in your years of service. You know, we're all going to leave this place. We love it, we're all going to leave it. But when you leave, the things that you've done for yourself will go with you. The things that you do for others are your legacy. Bob, your legacy is huge. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only, totally irreplaceable Bob Skitch.
Hey!
Paul's address yesterday, you never know quite what to believe, and everything's gingered up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. Things always get lost in translation. Anyway, I'm going to stick to the script. Thanks so much for coming this evening to be with my family and me, and I have actually been wondering what it's going to be like just standing here saying goodbye to all of you, my friends, because that's what you are.
Most of you. I did wonder if you should have left me.
I wonder if you made the right decision.
Just 20 seconds in, guys.
I want to say I've really been wondering about this moment for years, but anyway, here it is. As many of you heard my address last Monday in chapel, it has been 31 years since I started at Framlingham. I am the son of an Australian opera singer, actor and teacher, and an American nurse and teacher who's with us tonight. Thank you, Mum.
Exam invigilator as well.
My mother will still be working at Fram even after I retire.
I'm sure you should go in there.
Yeah, maybe. I was born in London before being taken to Pasadena, California when I was very small for a while, then to return to London. As Dave said, before Framlingham I was at university. I worked in banking, but before that, accountancy. After leaving school, my most favourite or formative working experience was at Ledbury Water Reclamation Plant, just the other side of Malden Hills, where I lived. Known colloquially as Ledbury Shitworks. As a sewage operative, I quickly learned how to fit 4 or 5 F words in every sentence. Status of demarcation, and I had to learn the importance of not taking overtime payments.
So the Ledbury, police.
Charlie's going to make one of his famous comebacks. I understand. It's been a very good excuse. I think that will need to be tested when he arrives. Okay, I forgot what I was going to say.
Shitworks,
I used enough profanities this week to audiences, I don't think I'll use any more. I started Framlingham in September 1988 after being appointed by Laurie Rimmer. In those days, headmasters were more concerned about what you could do outside the classroom than within it. It was assumed that academically you're okay, and at the interview, an experienced head could soon tell whether you can cut the mustard in the classroom. They were more often After an interview with the headmaster and a chat with the bursar, I was taken around the science labs. The head of the department, who was somebody called Howard Robinson, many of you will know, was teaching about the fourth set, which what we know today is year 10. He had no idea of who I was, or who the other candidates were. In those days, the HOD had no or little say at who would be appointed. My meeting with Howard was a 45-second meeting at the back of the lab, whilst his lesson continued. And Martin Myers-Allen came the following year. He had his initial interview in a pub. How things have changed. So what has happened in the last 31 years? There were no lesson observations when being interviewed, no inset before the start of the term, no appraisals. The senior master or second master would have a quiet or noisy word in your ear if you're not pulling your weight. No light timetables for probationary years. All staff are involved in a sports programme with taking teams and refereeing and coaching away matches too. Things have changed. I think there are very few academic staff who have the wonderful experience of taking teams. It really is a wonderful.
They're all here.
Just because you're
Many of us did. Mr. Cook,
Yeah, we've
we've
been
seen
there.
you take on the team, and I saw what you used to do in the common room cricket. I had a look at the school book, and you used to score lots of runs, and you were actually quite a decent bowler. And when I first came to Framlingham, because Mr. Cook was at Oakham and I was at Oakham, he did teach me a term of history, but fortunately he can't remember it. Thank God. Anyway, you said when you're only in you must have only been in your middle, late 30s, that you're too decrepit doing more sport. I didn't believe that 1 minute. But anyway, it's lovely to see you, Michael.
Ground's too small for Dixon.
So, actually, yes, there's a full chapel service. Can you believe that? Everybody in boarding houses, every Sunday. All staff had to read lessons too. All academic staff used to wear gowns to chapel 2 or 3 times a week. In fact, Mr. Cook, I remember when I first came, used to wear his gown right up to morning break after chapel.
You know, eating.
Eating. There's a tutor breakfast and evening meals served in the staff dining room available for all who were involved with boarding. That's many tutors. On the field days, no teaching as a whole. School weren't CCF, apart from a few who went on local cultural visits. So the whole timetable has collapsed. Every single field day, things have changed. Towards the end of my first year, David mentioned that I was driving. I was actually driving to a funeral when I had a blow up the A45, then now It's now A40, it was the A45 now. And I had a blowout. And the only thing I remember was being knocked out. People looking down at me, and I asked, or mentioned the mortal words, "Where's my wallet?"
It's funny, nothing changes, does it?
Still hasn't still know it is.
The same immortal word.
That I woke up in
Where's my
the
keys?
intensive care in Addenbrooke's the following day. My brother had flown in from New York overnight, as he has done, thank you Philip, as he has done from Cologne yesterday to be with us all tonight. So thank you for being with me there, Philip.
Pleasure. In better circumstances this time.
That's what you think.
I don't know what that means.
Are you planning an accident or something? Or maybe the academic staff are.
I can't remember that.
Well, about 4 months after I left intensive care, Anne became pregnant with our first child, William. Thank you, William. Where are you, William? There you are. There you are. That's it. 4 months after the accident, And Anne was more or less pregnant for the following 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
Alex, thank you. Simon, thank you. Andrew, and Rosie. Well done. Truly blessed. I just wanted to know how it happened. I could be.
It really was the morphine that you had in hospital.
Okay, so being in education for such a long time has given me a certain perspective and cynicism about education.
Oh.
The titles that staff have now are incredible. How many directors of this and that do we have? Our school or an industrial company. O-levels, GCSEs and A-levels change every 20 years, and the reinvention of the wheel which comes with such change is put forward by the educationists as radical and new. It isn't. A-levels, they're like the ones I first taught 30 plus years ago. As Cookie, who I'm sure would have a lot to say on that very point.
Discussions.
Mark, where are you, Mark? Mark?
There.
Oh, there you are. Mark Godfrey, thank you, and Sarah were both very close colleagues of mine. I forget, 1996, you have to say, Mark. He went to the
Other
the
place.
other side of the RHS at Minor Public School. I used to say that to the head, so I was very proud. Anyway, so Mark was actually the chairman of the common room, was never frightened to debunk any crass comment made by, I nearly crossed this out, by a headmaster of the common room. I admired and respected him for it, and Mark and Sarah ever since have been close friends, and they're actually godparents to Rosie. And, really excellent. Thank you for that, Mark and Sarah. I really appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to let David get away with saying those things he said about me. So, David, both persons that will be correct amongst you, or simply Boaty, was one of the first colleagues I met when I started at Framlingham. He was a spitting image of a mate of mine, Keith Boatman, who I played county rugby and club rugby with. And I asked him if he was related to Keith. And David's jaw just dropped, he almost collapsed, and we realised what a small world it was, and David and I became very close friends, and with his wife Louise. How are you, Louise? Louise North would have been my fifth head. I've worked with King Rim, Frizz Miller, Wenny, and Paul, who does not have a repeatable nickname I'm aware of.
Yes.
Probably too late now. The common room has been a much happier place under the stewardship of Paul. The fear of ambush by previous heads of gone. I used to see grown men take a detour through to go past the door of the head.
That's just you, Bob.
I wish that was so.
Almost so much better when she moved upstairs.
Well, maybe so. All staff at the college have been brilliant and so talented. I'm grateful for the enjoyable chats I've had next to the coffee machines when they work. I would have been appointed today. I'm not a teacher, I'm a schoolmaster. I'm fiercely proud of that. I've always enjoyed doing everything outside the classroom as much as I've done inside the classroom. And it has always been a balancing act to try and put the needs of the co-curricular sports department with actually having to get stuff marked for the following lesson. And sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right. But overall, the kids know you if you see it in the sports picture. All of you who do sports or any co-curricular stuff will know, whether it's debating, whether it's taking kids off to Oxford, Leo, as I know you do, and you do a brilliant job at that, thank you. We all know, we all do, and it's something which I will always treasure. And as I said in my speech, it's a bit pretentious, isn't it? On the press on Monday, Framlingham for me has been the death of ambition. I've never felt the need to move anywhere else, to be perfectly honest. As Paul will know, I haven't applied anywhere, certainly not under your stewardship. And I've been happy. Always be very content with what you're doing. Because if you're ambitious and you're so determined to try and climb the greasy pole, I've never met anyone who's climbed the greasy pole who's been truly happy. They haven't. The people who are happy are the ones who are content, and that's not to belittle their talents. It isn't at all. It's to just accept that you're in a good place. And when I drive into school, the 5 or 6 miles from where I live in school, and I look at the fields on either side, I think that's truly beautiful. It's uplifting. I love it. And to think that 35 years ago, I was driving a car down the M3, trying to get to London in traffic queues, and there's no comparison. We're so lucky to live in Suffolk, we really do. Why do you think there aren't any motorways in Suffolk? Suffolk and East Anglia is one of the best kept secrets in the country, and there's a reason for it. I think I probably said enough. The bar is still open, and you've probably heard enough from Skitch for a lifetime anyway.
Never.
Now we've got Bob a very imaginative present of money, which he has helpfully, he's bought some nice garden furniture, which you don't get excited about your presents, people. This is a contribution towards rather than paying for. I know.
One chair.
Much loved.
It's a great chair. Great helping, guys. Great helping, everybody. And secondly, Bob, I hope you and your families, it's lovely to have you all here, realise how special you are to us in the common room, and I promise you, the stories about you will continue for years. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody.